Hi everyone, my name is Melissa and I'm an early childhood educator here in the great state of Wisconsin. I absolutely love getting to be an early childhood educator. I love watching my children's brains learn and expand every single day. At this stage in their development, children are taking in new information constantly through their senses, and they're making connections in their brain that are going to last a lifetime based off the information that they take in. I think that being able to create environments where learning is possible and helping to lay the groundwork for these new and amazing connections that'll last a lifetime is the highest calling that I could possibly have, and I'm so proud and so thankful to be able to do this every single day. Now, one of the most important connections that we can help our children make is establishing early literacy skills. Now, early literacy skills are having basic phonetic and phonemic awareness, especially in this stage in their development. Before you go running off to grab a dictionary, let me explain what I mean by phonetic and phonemic awareness. Phonetic awareness is being able to understand how words are put together and the different sounds and syllables that make up words. Just like you wouldn't teach a child how to do math before teaching them the basic concepts of counting and what what numbers represent, so you wouldn't teach a child how to read or write before first teaching them how words are put together. Having phonological awareness is just that. It's understanding that the word elephant has 3 syllables. Elephant. It's also understanding that the word elephant is made up of different sounds, such as ent. Now, the different sounds that make up the different letters, those are getting into what we would call phonemic awareness. The English language has 26 letters in its alphabet, and each letter has a special sound. Some letters, though, have more than one sound, and some letters, when you put them together, like the PH in elephant, say a special sound of their own, like Understanding the different sounds that letters make, as well as the additional special sounds that there are, is phonemic awareness. Having a child understand basic phonetic and phonemic awareness is crucial to helping them understand not only how words are put together, but how to read those words, how to build basic sentences, and how to put things together in natural thought. Now, you might be asking yourself, I understand. Phonetic and phonemic awareness are important if I want my child to read, but my child's only 3. My child's only 4. Do they really need to know this stuff now? Couldn't they wait and learn this stuff in kindergarten or first grade when they're actually learning to read and write? Well, the American Academy of Pediatrics did a study, and they showed that children who had basic early literacy skills, such as phonetic and phonemic awareness, before they entered kindergarten, were 2 times more likely to succeed at learning to read and write once in kindergarten and first grade. Students who were successful at reading and writing by the time they reached 3rd grade were set to have success in the rest of their academic career, and were shown to have more students go on to secondary education after graduating high school, get good degrees, and have overall academic success for the rest of their life. It's crucial that we as early childhood educators and as parents establish these early literacy skills from birth to 4, so that by the time children get ready to enter kindergarten, they have the knowledge that they need in order to learn how to read and how to write. Now hold on a second. Before you go and hire a million tutors to start working with your child on their early literacy skills 24/7, let me explain what I mean by early literacy skills, as well as some things that you can do as parents and we can do as teachers to help build these skills in our children. I promise that they don't take too long, they're super fun, and there's things that you can do within your daily routines. Early literacy skills are the basic building blocks of things like reading and writing. These things include print concepts, understanding letter naming and recognition, expanding a child's vocabulary, phonological awareness, listening, speaking, and comprehension skills. All of these are basic skills that you need in order to be able to understand how to read and how to write. Let's start at the top. Print concepts are just being able to understand how books work. It's knowing how to hold a book, how to turn a page, how to follow a book's letter or words from left to right, and even how groups of words are put together into sentences into paragraphs, and so on and so forth. You can start this as soon as your child is born by reading with them and having them sit on your lap and showing them how you hold a book and turn its pages. As they grow into toddlers and twos, you can help them learn how to turn the pages for themselves. As your child gets to preschool age, you can show them how to read by helping them point to each individual word as you read it one at a time. Not only does this help them to recognize keywords that they'll see often in books and stories, but it also shows them how to follow along a story's thought in a sequential manner. The second early literacy skill that we're going to talk about is letter naming, and that's just what it sounds. It's being able to identify correctly the different letters in the alphabet. One fun game that I use with my students to help with this is a game of memory that I made up with Hershey's Kisses. If you take a Hershey's Kiss and you write the letter on the bottom of the kiss, and then you turn the Hershey's Kisses upside down on the table so that the child can't see the letters, then everyone takes a turn flipping 2 over to see if they have a match. If they do get a match, they have to tell me what letter they got. For example, if a child turns 2 over and they both have A on them, they have to tell me that they got A. This game is a lot of fun because it not only helps with letter recognition, but at the end, you get to eat the candy matches. For a child who maybe is really good at this game or who maybe is a little bit more advanced, you can even use upper and lowercase letters to see if they can match an uppercase A and a lowercase a. Or you can even have word matching, where you maybe have a CH, an O, an M, and a P, and they have to put 2 together to make another word. A third early literacy skill is being able to expand a child's vocabulary. Helping your child understand different words so that when they see them in print, they're able to recognize them, as well as understanding the context that these words fit into, is so helpful in establishing early literacy and helping children learn how to read and write quickly. One fun game that we play with my students is called Categories. It's where I list a category and we take turns saying words that fit inside that category. For example, if you have the word fruit, if your category is fruit, then maybe I would say banana and my student would say strawberry. We'd keep going back and forth like this until one of us couldn't think of another fruit. This is a great way to help expand your child's vocabulary. Let's say that you are playing with the category fruit and your child has thought of all the fruits they can think of and they can't think of any more. You could say a fruit that maybe they're not familiar with, like pomegranate or kumquat. Most kids aren't super familiar with that word. It's always a fun word to teach. And if you say that word, you're helping them expand their vocabulary by adding a new word into that category. For students who are maybe really good at this game, or for a child who's maybe a little bit more advanced and who already has a pretty expansive vocabulary, pick a category that maybe they're not super familiar with. Maybe it's something from your job or something around the house that they don't really have too much to do with. This is a great way of not only including your child in other parts of your life, but also helping them expand their vocabulary and being able to have intelligent conversations with people around them. The next early literacy skill is, of course, phonological awareness, which we've been talking about this whole time. One great game that you can play to help teach phonological awareness is a little play on I Spy. Normally you play I Spy with your eyes, but this time we play it with our ears. I might say, I spy something that starts with the F sound, and see if my students can go find the fishing pole. This is a fun one to do with your students or your kids at home. However, for those who maybe aren't quite good at recognizing the different sounds and seeing how they correlate to actual words, you can maybe tone it down a little bit by saying, I spy something that starts with ch, and see if they go find the chain. Or you could say the drill and see if they go find the toy drill. You can do a million different variations of this I Spy game to match your child's individual unique levels. The next early literacy skill is being able to listen. Now, you might ask yourself, why is listening so important? Reading and writing is kind of a solitary skill, right? It's something you mostly do in your head. You're either pouring your thoughts out onto paper or you're taking new thoughts in, but mostly it's silent. So why would you need listening skills in order to learn to read and write? Well, listening helps us identify the differences in the sounds. And being able to do this helps your child better understand not only how to write out new sounds, but also how to recognize them when they see them on paper. One fun game that we do is called Hear the Difference. So what I do is I'll give 3 words and I'll ask my child to identify the one that's different. For instance, you might say chicken, chomp, and ship. Now CH says ch and SH says sh. And they're both very similar. You have to listen really hard to hear the difference, right? Even though they're 3 completely different words with 3 completely different contexts, the sounds at the beginning are similar. And my students actually have a lot of fun trying to sort out which one is different. For a student or for a child who maybe isn't quite that advanced, you can make a category with 3 completely different sounds. So maybe you could say truck, train, and spider. Clearly, the t and the s are different, and they'll be able to point that out a little bit more easily. The next early literacy skill is speaking. Not only being able to identify with our ears the different sounds, but being able to form them helps us learn how to more accurately read and write. One fun game that we do is called Finish My Line to help students with this skill. I might say the line from a familiar poem or a nursery rhyme or a story or even a song lyric that my children are really into at the time. They have to finish the line. So for some students, especially my younger ones, we just do one word. So maybe if it's the song Let It Go, I'll sing Let It and we'll see if they fill in the word go. However, for my older students, I'll use whole paragraphs where I say the first half of a nursery rhyme and they have to fill in the next 3 or 4 lines all by themselves. This is a great way to help children learn not only how to apply words in correct context, but also how to say specific words and doing so in a fun way. The last early literacy skill we're going to talk about today is comprehension. Reading and writing don't mean much if we don't understand what we're reading and what we're writing about. Comprehension is huge in helping us understand how to read and write, and it's something that you can do simply by talking with your child. By asking them questions about their day, about things that they saw or that they heard, by pointing things out and asking them, why do you think that is? Or what would you do in this situation? You help them learn basic comprehension skills. For young children, these questions will be super basic, super simple, and you'll probably only get 1 or 2 word answers. But for an older preschool child, this can be a great time to probe deep into what their thoughts actually are and to help them learn how to express those thoughts in an oral manner. Being able to express themselves orally helps them be ready to express themselves in a written way as well. All of these skills work together to help our children learn how to be ready to read and write. When children are able to read and write, they're set up for so much more success in their life than if they're unable to do these basic things. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you learned a little something, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!